Back a long time ago in school, our teachers had a standardized way of trying to improve our public speaking skills. We would all do that thing where you read from the same textbook and everyone would do a paragraph each. And through that practice, we all had a chance to speak in front of our classmates and practice our public speaking skills. Then, as time went on, we would take part in sessions where we would ask questions. We would have a chance to put our hand up and share our thoughts and ideas. And as we got older, we would take part in group presentations and individual presentations. And through these practices, we all became amazing public speakers and inspired people around the world. But my experience was very, very different. Stuttering affects 1% of the world's population, and this is consistent across different countries and cultures. Stuttering manifests as blocks, facial distortions, and repetitions of sounds. Some people stutter a bit less, but beneath the surface, there's a lot of swapping of words, word swapping, and avoidances. But beyond all this, the worst feelings are fear and the embarrassment. When it came to my turn to speak in front of the class, be it through textbook or assignment, I would do anything and everything to get out doing it, from faking colds and coughing. And eventually I'd just tell teachers at the start of each year that I did not want to speak in front of the class. And this caused me a lot of fear and a lot of stress. So much so I could not concentrate properly because I was afraid that my time to speak would come. My teachers, they understood and they showed a sympathy. I didn't have to speak in front of the class. I didn't have to take part in group presentations. I didn't have to talk about my ideas and work. And this for me was the best thing ever because I could just focus on the book work and get through school safely. My teachers thought that they were doing me a favor, and I did too. But what did that mean in the long term? I didn't have the experience of sharing ideas. I didn't have the opportunity to build my confidence and self-esteem. And I lacked the personal growth and the life skills that we need after school. And as everyone knows, after you finish school and education, things get a bit more serious. Job interviews, dates, presenting on placements in the workplace. I failed in most of these situations. And probably the worst one is, when I was 22, I was called upon to do a speech at my grandma's funeral to a room in front of 200 people. I went up, I had a speech prepared, and I opened my mouth to speak. And not a single sound came out. and I burst into tears. So as we go on, and after spending school avoiding, this carried on, and I would avoid words and sounds, people and situations, careers and opportunities. And eventually, you start to avoid life. And the worst thing about avoidance, if you are a person who stutters, is that it can actually creep into every area of your life. So at the age of 22, after the failure of that speech at the funeral, I decided that I had to do something different. So I threw myself into everything. I went traveling by myself, a backpacker style, to find myself. I didn't find anything. I coached sports, and I went in martial arts, and eventually joined public speaking clubs because I identified that it was something that I had to address. And eventually, I found other people who also shared the same challenge as me, and immersed myself in the world of stuttering. And through all the years now of talking about the journey and documenting the experiences, I have been sharing that through various platforms, and in that practice, I have brought along my family and friends on this journey. But some of the best conversations actually have happened when I've bumped into people from school. And my blogs and videos always come up in conversation. And they always say that they found them inspirational and incredible. And I think back to school, and I realized, did I ever think to give them a chance? Because in the end, I received sympathy from my teachers, parents, and classmates. But really, what I needed was empathy. And you only get empathy if you open up and share, because then you can actually form a connection and share that experience with someone else. And maybe if I did that, my teachers would be brave enough to give me opportunities and challenge me. And maybe I would have been brave enough to ask for them and speak in front of a classroom. Because in the end, after years of practice and push myself, I have turned public speaking into one of my strongest assets. But there are thousands of people out there who had that same experience that I did in school and aren't as fortunate as me. So the message that I have for people in school or teachers or everyone here is that if you are experiencing something that is a barrier, that is a challenge, and it's stopping you from progressing in your endeavors, in your work, in your school life, find someone that you can open up and share that experience with, and give them the permission to challenge you, to push you. Because in the end, if you can do that and bring them on the journey with you and give that trust, great things can happen. And maybe you can also push past and overcome your barriers and step in to the next stage of your school life or your work life, and have a life where you can be stress-free and not worry about the boundaries and barriers that you have placed during those formative years in school. Thank you very much.